Hello my fellow players, Zaript here, and we are about to witness a finals of Red's 1v1 tournament which uses DuckMod as a main game mod. And the echo you hear probably is Duck's microphone, which picks up unfortunately from his speakers, but I want to mention that this is best of one, and it means, okay, I will then not use push to talk, I will cast like this so there is no echo, so if anyone wants to hear me, he have to hear me on the stream. Anyway, we will see Seleucids against Rome on this fairly interesting...
It's a bit silent.
No, I'm not silent, I'm just not using push to talk so that there is no echo. Otherwise it's kinda screwed over for people on the stream. And none of them actually does anything, I should say. Look how cautiously they play. This is best of one, none of them wants to make a mistake, none of them wants to go to area where he at disadvantage, so Panda Warrior stays exactly where his uphill advantage ends, and same goes for Chitak. At the same time, Chitak uses his Numidian cavalry to run around, scout stuff, but there is not a single move was made by Panda Warrior. Okay, now he moves. Chitak does some flanking maneuvering, as you can see. But I will go over the Seleucids build now, which is Panda Warrior. And he has 4 Thorax Swordsmen with 2 Royal Pelters. Then he have 2 Eastern Slingers. It's interesting, I never can force myself to take only 2 skirmishes. I need either 3 or 4. Then we have 1 Persian Hoplites, very cheap unit. 2 Indian War Elephants and 4 Hellenic Cataphracts. That's his build. Will you go over the Rome, Duck?
Well, what I can see of Rome, Rome is currently in the forest.
Yeah, completely hidden.
Yeah, Chitak has 2 units of Triarii, 2 units of auxiliary African elephants, General's Bodyguard, 2 units of Velites, and 2 units of auxiliary Balearic Slingers, unit of first cohort, Praetorians, Praetorian Guard, Praetorians, and armored legionaries. So I think 5 really strong infantry units. And then he has that unit of auxiliary Numidian cavalry that's currently running around the battlefield. And 2 units of Soci Equites, extraordinary.
Yeah, and this may be quite a long game in fact, because as we can see, Chitak is quite like he really wants to wait for Panda Warrior to make his move. He uses his Numidian cavalry to put some pressure on elephants, and Panda Warrior in fact moves forward. And the biggest like slowing down, how should I put it, the reason why Panda Warrior is so slow is obviously because he don't even know composition of enemy forces. If he knew it, he would probably just rush, who knows. But right now he isn't confident what he is about to face.
Yeah, and I think Chitak, he kind of wants to fight Panda Warrior in the woods, because if they fight in the woods, strengths of Panda's build, I mean, they'll be neutralized.
Cataphracts, you mean?
Yeah, and the elephants.
Yeah, they, as if I remember correctly, in forest cavalry and elephants have only 70% of their speed.
Yeah, and I think they also lose some melee attack or something.
Really?
Well, might have been that it's not. It used to be like that in Shogun 2 at least, but they might have changed that. remove that from Rome.
Okay, so I found a nice angle to take a look at what's happening, but judging by minimap, there is minimal movement. So Chitak moved out his Balearic Slingus, and he may take some free shots.
Yeah, he's basically, I think, trying to goad Panda to advance.
I wonder if that will happen. Oh, he used quick reload. On the other flank, Panda Warrior forces Chitak's Soki Equitas Extraordinary away. So this is quite cautious battle. It may not be as fast and like breathtaking as some of the battles we like to see, but it's still this almost chess-like match sometimes show thinking process behind decisions of a players much better, in my opinion, because we can really take a look at each separate move and see why it was done. Like we seen Chitak trying to use his Numidian cavalry to put a pressure on elephants. When it didn't work, he tried to keep two Soki Equitas behind his opponent for later, for actual engagement. And now we can see how none of them actually have any desire to engage without actually obtaining some terrain advantage. Because build-wise, none of them have any specific advantage. Well, Panda Warrior...
I mean,
yeah, you go.
Yeah. I think basically it's a matter of Panda wanting to fight in the open and Chitak wanting to fight in the forest. I think we'll next see Chitak push into that forest.
Yeah, likely. And he does it. He moves his infantry in squares. Interesting. It looks like a real Roman legionnaires. At least that's how they imagined in the movies and the books.
Yeah, I think he... I mean, so it's a good way to ensure maximum bracing bonus, but ineffective in my opinion.
Yeah. And I have to disagree with Panda Warrior. In the chat he says that this is disadvantage of terrain maps, but in my opinion it's actually quite an opposite. If you have attack a defender rule or dodges, obviously Rome 2 have these problems of not having dodges. But I mean, I'm so sick of flat maps with no terrain. It's just way too boring. But we may see some development soon. Now Panda Warrior have an idea of his enemy build, and he may actually go for Sword Rush. Personally, at this point I will start to lose my patience and probably try to take a melee engagement in that forest, because it's small enough and you may get some nice charge bonus on edges of that forest. But
I don't think Panda is gonna do that, because he has seen the melee infantry of Itak, and basically he knows that his Thorax swordsman just won't cope with the Praetorians.
yeah, but let's be honest, on the other hand, as Chitak, why would you go out of the forest when you know that you have to face two Indian war elephants? It's just...
Yeah, I suppose Panda will try to lure Chitak to engage in that area and just push into that side.
I wonder if he can, because he have to skirmish against forest, he have to move into forest.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he'll probably just end up doing is just envelop on both sides.
Okay, so some epic close shots, because on the main map, as you can see guys, nothing specific happens. Panda Warrior goes in a very widespread formation, which is surprising, but allows him to catch more. He will get a nice envelope very soon.
Yeah, I don't think the center is actually going to engage. It's just going to be there to pin down the Roman infantry.
Yeah, because on the right flank there is already engagement starting. Elephants charging person. Hoplitas? Come on, can't you... That's such a waste of a charge. Really. But there is some fire javelins going into African war elephants, which are charging through Triari, pushing through nicely. But look, non-Triari actually died, only now they started dying. Whoa, that's fast. And that's an engagement in the middle, so Sword Rush...
Yeah, and his Panda's elephants actually went berserk. Now they're smashing into the Thorax hoplites.
Thorax Swordsman, but look how fast they got destroyed in the middle. They're really much weaker. So you did read that engagement perfectly. The moment Panda decided to take the fight, he lost it. He does much better on the flank with Royal Peltas. And two more elephants charged each other. I don't think the game over, by no means. Indian war elephants, they run amok, but they will come back.
Yeah, and they're actually killing key units as well.
Yeah.
They're flashing through Praetorians.
And there is another elephant on another flank, so infantry isn't a problem anymore, especially now when infantry isolated from skirmishes. So skirmishes would be pushed by Hellenic Cataphracts. This is a game for Panda, likely.
Yeah, he has a really strong unit of Royal Peltas left as well. But Itak does have some Praetorian guards, but I think actually Itak made a mistake of activating Use the Whip too early.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't see him coming back from this, it's just... Where is that? When that elephant stops running amok, it will likely be over. Well, Chitak managed to get his gen into Eastern Slingers, but there is a whole unit of Royal Peltas. No. We have a champion most likely.
Yeah, the morale of the Roman units won't hold.
Yeah. So how would you read what happened? I guess elephants played a big role.
No, I mean, I don't think the elephants played a... Okay, one of the elephants did really well. The other, not so much. I just think...
There is Hellenic Cataphract with 290 kills. Probably killing routing units.
And all of the skirmishers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it basically came down to Shitak actually not having much of a cavalry force. So, in the end, all those cataphracts went unchecked, and at the same time, he had, I think, 4 units in the forest and 3 units outside the forest. And Panda was able to just gang up on the units outside of the forest. Good effect.
Yeah. And somehow, despite the Sorok Swordsman being pretty much sacrifice lamb, they still took some forces of Chitak from fights on the flanks. Like some of these Praetorians had to fight in the middle when flanks were collapsing. And really, when you face 4 Sorok Swordsmen in the middle with 4 units, let's look at the Rome army. What is left if you take 4 infantry units out of the fight? Like, for flanks, only 3 units left, including elephants, and they died really fast.
Yeah, and even then, Panda had those Royal Peltas on the flanks, which meant that they more or less tie up one of the Praetorian guards on each flank.
Yeah.
So I think it basically came down to the Roman army being too focused on elite units.
Yeah. Maybe he should have just... I don't know, I have a theory, like, if you have to deal with such a build, maybe your best bet would be to actually use Terraria in the middle to hold enemy cheap units.
Or just bring your own cheap units, because Rome in the end does have. I mean,
yeah,
the Praetorians aren't the best, most cost-effective units that Rome has. Rather, I mean, he could have used the legionaries, Principes, Socio Extraordinary, or Veteran Legionaries, which would have. I mean, I think they would have quite clearly actually beat the Turk swordsmen. And that would have left him with more funds and units for the flanks.
Yeah, that's interesting interplay indeed. And with price increase on most elite units, you would think twice about how to pick your tools. You really can't have advantage over whole front. It's just not gonna happen. Anyway, that's time to stop my recording. Thank you guys for watching. Check description for useful links and see you later.